What's up, guys? Sorry for the bad audio quality. My old camera it broke, so I will have to get a new camera eventually. Otherwise, I'll just use this one, my laptop. So I apologize again for the bad audio quality. Anyhow, I'm here to do this week's latest chapter of One Piece, and a lot to say about this chapter. Mainly, it's another transition chapter, so it's not going to get a 10 out of 10 rating. Again, spoiler alert, and there will be, for the most part, no chapter summary. So, for this chapter of One Piece, it's again a transition chapter, so it's not going to get a 10 out of 10 rating. Um, Basically, we see what's going to happen with the remaining contestants, and we see most of them get knocked out, and that's pretty much the chapter. And we see a lot of fight transitions where they get knocked out of the ring or they survive, and there's a lot of confirmation of previous predictions on who would survive, as well as um, things that were slightly surprising. So, as predicted, Don Chinjao is the strongest. I mean, he is like the retired commander, or no, he's like the retired head of this entire navy force or whatever uh, place he's from, and he has two subordinates in the C block with him fighting. So that pretty much means that he's the strongest out of those three, and we've seen his subordinates super strong. So we know he's even stronger than that. So therefore, it was pretty obvious that of the three of them, he would be the last one standing, if not the last person in C block other than Luffy standing. So that made plenty of sense to me. Um, the bounty hunter guy, I really thought he would last longer. There was a lot of mystery concerning him initially, so it seemed like with the mystery, like the author, Oda, he could have made it. He could have made him very strong, but he chose not to do that. And basically, he got owned by Chinjao. And what's interesting to note is that the bounty hunter's swords, despite missing Luffy, because Luffy used that evasion haki to dodge them, they still pierced Chinjao. And despite the fact that the possibility that Chinjao chose not to dodge them, we did see a lot of blood coming from Chinjao after he got stabbed by all these swords. So I'm gonna give this bounty hunter that he was at least strong enough to injure Chinjao, despite him having Emperor's Haki as well. And so, what really saves this chapter and ups the rating for me is the ending, where you see, like, basically this gag where, I mean, it's been done quite a few times in quite a few manga if you read a lot of manga or watch a lot of anime. But it's this whole idea of, you see two very strong forces fighting each other, and then you see like two other strong forces come in and say, get out of the way, and then like in one fell swoop, like push that guy out of the way and kill him, and then fight the stronger force. I mean, it's hard to explain, but if you read the chapter, you know what I'm talking about. Chinjao and Luffy pretty much, they don't even acknowledge these two people fighting. They just push them out of the way, and like push them out of the ring, and like they get gravely injured. So it's like, again, spoiler alert. It's like this is like a total rip off of Bleach when they did the same thing in Bleach. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Grimjow, and no, not Grimjow. It was someone. It was two people in Bleach. I can't remember their names right now, but I know their faces. But yeah, I really think that's the biggest thing that I can remember that they ripped this off of. And so, as we can see here, the author of One Piece is clearly a fan of Bleach. Am I going to get outraged that he did this and accuse him of copyright infringement? No. It's a gag, and maybe he came up with this on his own. Regardless, I really like the gag. When done well, it really strikes a good tone, and I thought they did this in this chapter. And so we see two huge um, candidates. Well, obviously we know Luffy's going to win the sea block. He has to, but two huge candidates being knocked out very quickly. One is that guy who I forgot his name, but he's got that like boxing ability where each punch is like an explosion, and then he's fighting the commander who the commander of the navy, who is a subordinate to Chinjao. So he's also very strong, and we saw earlier how he took out that duo group that could fuse. And just a side note here, again, I predicted this last week. Basically, they did. It was confirmed that they fused. The older one, who had a weaker physique, he ate this jacket fruit, which allows him to control anything that wears him. Personally, I think it's the stupidest ability ever, because who would ever let you willingly wear where who would willingly let you wear let you like wear yourself as like a jacket and control you? That's just like unheard of. Like he's the only power he has is in his brother. So if he lost his brother, like that ability is like useless. This jacket and miri fruit, it's like there's no way you would even get close to anyone and subdue them in order for you to wrap yourselves around them, zip up your jacket self and control them. So it's the power is kind of like inhibited by itself, because in order to even get to that stage, like it says, like you can control anything, animal, human, object, as long as you wrap around them in the form of a jacket. But in order to get to that point, you would have to subdue them and beat them in a fight. So it's kind of a useless power. It's completely dependent on the fact that he has a brother who is naturally born to have a very strong physique. And so basically the summary of that duo is that the buff brother is very weak emotionally and a coward, and then the weaker brother is very strong intellectually and psychologically, but he's very weak physically. So by them merging, they become the ultimate strength. However, you see him beating everyone, and then here comes this guy, and he owns him very quickly. So, long story short, I really think it suits the story. We see a lot of very formidable people eliminated, so it's not like a one-sided fight. Uh, we do see Chinjao and Luffy going at it, both who have the very rare Emperor's Haki. I believe it's 1 in a million. And the final panel, we see Chinjao for the first time not using his head to fight, and using the armament Haki, which pretty much creates like a second shield along your body, and it turns your like hand like black. And you see him using this versus Luffy. And again, we haven't seen Luffy's full strength yet ever since the time skip. Why? Because it's still early. I mean, this is like the second big arc since the time skip. So there shouldn't be like a limit to Luffy's ability shown yet. It's too early. I mean, 3 years of training, like for him to reach his limit and face a foe where he can't beat so early on after the time skip, it's ridiculous, because like he spent the whole point of the time skip was to train and garner this tremendous strength for every member of his crew, because they were destroyed, and it was like a slap in the face before the time skip when they realized, wow, we need to get a lot stronger if we want to go to a new world. So basically, with this new freaking this new big arc, I really think it's going to be a huge fight with Chinjao. I mean, Chinjao, he's old, he's experienced, he has Emperor's Haki, he's faced Garp. It's going to be a big fight. I'm sure it will last the entire chapter next week, but Luffy has to win. I mean, we like that's how it progresses. Like with the time skip, he has like it's just how it has to be. Like he's trained for so long, and it wouldn't make sense for him to still not be able to run into a foe so quickly on after the time skip that he can't beat. And so we'll see how that goes. I think my predictions are that Luffy will get to the final, but the whole thing's rigged. Like the whole point of it was to draw out Luffy and bait him. So maybe he'll win the whole tournament, only to find that he's not going to get the fruit as a prize. It was just a sort of trap, and yeah, he was stupid to follow it. And I'm very curious why most of these people. Well, it's kind of obvious. Most of the people want this fruit because it will grant them additional abilities. Why the jacket guy wanted the fruit? Maybe for his brother, maybe to sell, who knows. But very interesting episode of One Piece. I would give, I hate to give numerical ratings because it is subjective, but I will give a numerical rating, not a range, a straight up rating. 7.6 out of 10 this week, which is a very high, solid rating for a chapter. Very decent chapter. Again, it's more of like a transition chapter, so not a lot of big surprises and stuff like that. So that's why it's not an 8 or 9. See you guys later. If you like this video, like, comment, rate, and subscribe if you're not subscribed for more videos in the future. It's free. Just hit the subscribe button down below. I don't think you even need a YouTube account to do so. And finally, last but not least, leave your insights, comments, discussion, your own predictions, and your own feedback. Most likely I will reply back as long as the comment is not vicious or vile, and I'll provide my own feedback in response to your comments. I'll see you guys later. Peace out and subscribe.